Sarri blames his own tactics for the dilemma on Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Arsenal breaking an 11-year record, Real Madrid are still hot on Mauricio Pochettino's tail, Celtic have a wonderkid on their hands, and we've got today's Friday feels. That and more coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host Matt Froelich, you are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First up, Mauricio Sarri said that he has so many tactical problems when it comes to fitting Ruben Loftus-Cheek into the starting lineup. But this is all down to his own fault, as he says he has too many similar players. Basically, N'Golo Kante is the one defensive midfielder, while the other three that he's got like to go forward. The likes of Kovacic, Barkley and Jorginho are more forward-thinking players, meaning that he says he can't really fit Loftus-Cheek in anywhere. While the young England international is doing his case no harm, as he bagged a hat-trick last night in the Europa League, the first Englishman to score a hat-trick since Harry Kane back in 2014. If his career goes anything like Kane's, well, I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted. But from an England perspective, I'd love to see Loftus-Cheek played more. To be honest, he could fit into a Chelsea midfield ahead of the likes of Kovacic or even Barkley, because he's doing the business at the moment, so why wouldn't you put him in? Barkley can also be put out wide, and the likes of Hazard can drift off everywhere. Come to think of it, if Hazard does leave Chelsea for Real Madrid or wherever he goes, it may mean that the likes of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, even Callum Hudson-Odoi maybe get their chance to the first team, and we could see that Chelsea do actually have some fantastic youngsters on their hands. But away from Chelsea into Arsenal now, who yesterday won their 11th game in a row, the first time that they've done that in 11 years. It looks like life after Arsene Wenger isn't going too badly at all with new manager Unai Emery. Danny Welbeck got the only goal of the game last night as they claimed victory in Portugal against Sporting, which now means that Welbeck has 4 goals and 1 assist in his last 5 starts for Arsenal. This leaves Unai Emery with the most ridiculous of headaches when it comes to striking options. Aubameyang and Lacazette are both on fine form, and now with Danny Welbeck joining the fold, he has a real selection headache. But it's probably better to have too many options than not enough. Take Sarri at Chelsea, for example, where Morata just really isn't worth considering, and the same thing goes to Spurs, where Vincent Janssen hasn't even been given a squad number or registration for the Premier League squad. As for the rest of the game, well, it saw Granit Xhaka fill in an unfamiliar left-back role, but he did pretty well considering that Sporting had no shots on target, and to be honest, they could have even had a man sent off, but Coates' headbutt on Lichtstein was somehow missed by the referee. All in all, a good night for English clubs in Europe. But away from Arsenal into their North London rivals Tottenham, who are still in danger of losing their manager. According to Antonio Conte's brother and agent Daniele, Real Madrid haven't made contact with him or with Conte about the vacant manager's position. This is because they are still looking at Mauricio Pochettino to take over the role should Julen Lopetegui get sacked. This is because Real Madrid's thinking behind this is that in a few months Spurs will hopefully be out of the Champions League, hopefully won't be in a new stadium, and hopefully Pochettino won't be promised the new signings that he so dearly craves. This will make the opportunity of moving to Real Madrid so much clearer for Pochettino and his backroom staff. He'll be moving to the biggest club in the world, in the Champions League, in a huge stadium, and he'll have a pretty much unlimited budget. To be honest, I don't even blame him if he goes after that deal. As for Real Madrid buying out his contract, well, this summer Pochettino signed a new £8.5 million a year, 5-year deal, so it's going to cost them a bit of money to get him out of that contract, but that's never been a problem for Madrid in the past. Moving on still further, because we've got a lot to get through on today's Daily News, there's so much flying around, but we're going to talk about an incredible youngster right now who could be hitting our screens sooner than you thought. A few years ago, the name Karamoko Dembele hit the headlines as the 13-year-old at Celtic made his debut in the development squad. This led to a huge raise in his profile, and apparently a big move to some of Europe's top clubs was on the cards. However, and rightly so for his development, he stayed at Celtic and has been coming along nicely. Last night, he made his debut at age 15 in the reserve squad and scored a ridiculous solo goal within the first 13 minutes. It's absolutely crazy to think someone so young is so talented, and Brendan Rodgers thinks the same. As for his first team debut, well, he's eligible to make it in February when he turns 16, but Rodgers said he won't be putting him in just yet. Although he says he has got the talent and ability to keep up with the first team squad, we must remember that he's still a child. When it comes to his mental and physical abilities, he's still just a kid, so there's no need to rush him in just yet. As for Celtic in the league, well, they're pretty much nailed on to win the league every year, so there's no rush to put in a potential best player just yet. He can slowly develop bit by bit, getting some game time here and there. And if there's any place in the world where you can be able to develop and test your physical game, it's on the rugged, harsh conditions of the Scottish League. And lastly but not least, we come to today's Friday Feels. This is a new segment in our Friday Daily News where basically, using my gut feeling and a few other feels around my body somewhere, I'm going to give you a little tip on a game in the weekend's action. This weekend, I'm going for Newcastle United and Rafa Benitez to pick up their first win of the season away at Southampton on Saturday afternoon. But what do you guys think? This is where you can get involved. Let me know in the comment section what you're feeling for this weekend. Give a tip about a player scoring or a team winning. Let me know, and on Monday when we review it, I'll give a shout out to the best ones who were correct. Until then though, you can click here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. Make sure you smash the like button down below. Have a great weekend, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.